does look like we're live.
Yeah. Ooh. Yes.
So,
The mighty triumvirate returns.
we're gonna talk about. Well, I'm in DC. I can talk a little bit about the vigil that kind of wasn't here for Assange. I was here in June. For one, actually, had a lot of people. Ray McGovern and Lee Stranahan, I think, was here before I got, and Kevin Hayes and Margaret Meredith. Anyway, but the one today, it was tiny, and I don't know, if it was organized last minute really or what, but anyway, I'm in DC, so that's why things might look different. I'm streaming remotely, kind of. But so ALS, we were going to talk about that article that you sent.
Yes.
Yes. That was an interesting read. To the credit of the author, it ended up being a lot less. Uh, how would you how would you phrase it? Uh, a lot less biased, I guess, than I'd expected it to be. Like I was expecting this to get go full into wacko territory, but it actually managed to keep a some level of reasoned discourse that for whatever my disagreements with the author is, I commend them for at least trying to be civil about it. That said, I do think that there are issues with it that we need to discuss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Namely, the fact that for one, I'm not entirely sure what the guy's thesis was. Aside from, like the obvious, well, these people are not, there are lefties that don't really like the whole Russia narrative. The author doesn't seem to present any like clear solution to either A, convincing lefties that Russia needs to be taken more seriously, or B, what should we do against that fact? What should we do in spite of that fact? There's like if you're a lefty who's reading this, you don't get any information that would convince you to join his side of the fence. And if you're already on his side of the fence, you don't really get any solutions about how to best collaborate with people who don't necessarily buy into Russiagate or who push anything positive, any kind of positive political change. So it's just it's a whole lot of words that don't amount to a fuck lot of anything.
That's a good analysis. The actual article right now. Oh, there it is. Okay.
So should we do this? Go through this line by line?
Yeah.
I just if you don't mind,
Yes.
I have something I want to bring up real quick.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
If you read it, there's a huge glaring omission in this article. It gets to the very root of what the real problem is with this article.
All right. Go for it.
It doesn't at all mention why we on the left and it's because of the goddamn deep state's involvement in presenting this as a case. We know what their motivations are. We know that they're all about creating conflict, and this article doesn't bring that up at all.
Yeah, and that's a problem. That is a problem. But then again, the article doesn't really do a good job of presenting its own case that well either. So I guess they can't be faulted too hard, considering the person who wrote this clearly put a lot of time into trying to explain the arguments, but didn't really bother to explain the roots of either side. So I guess it's fair in that sense.
Sorry, I'm slightly distracted because we're also making sure the volume and everything is okay for tomorrow night. Well, and tonight.
Of course.
But and it sounds like apparently the volume is really low.
Is it? All right, let me.
On YouTube, maybe. I mean, it's going to be hard for us to tell here. We need to.
If you three continue talking, I can get into the feed and see what the audio sounds like.
All right. Oh, there we go. Pat Elder.
I can take a listen too.
Okay, thank you.
But this doesn't sound too bad.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Are you sure
No,
it's fine for you guys? Oh wait. I'm listening to the YouTube feed. That might be something different.
No, that's what we want to listen to is the YouTube. We want to hear what it sounds like.
Changed. Okay. OBS setting. Change. Okay. That's just tricky. I don't, I had to put that so like offset the OBS settings. Like, I don't know how to, if I have to keep changing it each time, I don't know what's making it sound different every time. It seems like it should stay, when I said it that way. I don't know.
You think?
You would think. Sorry, go ahead. I'm also looking for, you mentioned the deep state, and there's some stuff that occurred. I just heard about it today, about Bill Binney.
Oh boy.
What
Now
happened to Bill Binney?
Okay, hang on. I don't want to misquote anything here. I believe, in a nutshell, that there was an article that basically stated that Bill Binney was like changing his mind and about some of the the VIPS analysis about Elizabeth Voss responded about this.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, here it is. Okay. This was 3 days ago. I missed it. I've been in transit. Okay, so on the latest establishment attack launched against WikiLeaks and independent media. If you go to disobedientmedia.com, that's where it is. But basically, let me get the names right here. Who is it? Adam Carter? Is that the writer?
Oh yes, I saw something about this.
Okay, yeah. Early yesterday, journalist Duncan Campbell published an inaccurate, deceptive smear piece which doxed independent journalist Adam Carter while also misrepresenting the findings of members of VIPS, Veterans Intelligence Professionals for Sanity, the Forensicator, and me. This was written on... Okay, and it's Elizabeth's writing. Okay. In the wake of the hit piece, Adam Carter has publicly stated that he is considering taking legal action due to the libelous material contained in Campbell's work. Anyways, we can go back. We can come back to this. I didn't mean to. We were on the other article. I just immediately thought of it because you said deep state, and that's something that apparently they've like tried to say Bill Binney said stuff that he didn't. So why don't we come back? We can come back.
Surprise.
Yeah. So we can come back to that. Sorry.
All right. So let's see.
I love the idea of going on through this thing line by line, because I used to do that with a lot of articles, and I now have shown my daughter that a couple of times. I'm like, read this sentence, and does it actually state a fact, or does it just sort of like try to lead you into believing this is a fact when not really stating it? So I think it's kind of fun to do that with these articles and see what sort of, I don't know, mind bending they're trying to pull on you. Because it's not journalism. Okay.
Work. All right. I might actually have a problem. I can't pull it up from my end. So.
Yeah, I had trouble a minute ago. Hang on, I'll get it.
Did they delete this?
No, it's here. Hang on. But I had trouble too. I don't know why.
Okay.
Weird. Yeah, it's like not.
Yeah, I'm having. Did they delete the article?
Yeah, I had it up.
That'd be awkward. I spent yesterday actually reading trying to reread this so that I can actually prepare for this.
No, here we go. I got it.
Did you get?
Okay. Yeah. Do you want me to read the first line or the first paragraph, or?
First paragraph, and we'll go through this point by point.
Okay. As you move from the right to the left of the ideological spectrum, skepticism of the Russia scandal gives way to suspicions that it covers up something serious. But somewhere on the left, right around the fault line where Barack Obama is deemed to have been a bad president, opinion turns back again towards skepticism. So I would say that's the us camp, the kind of anti-neoliberal camp now, right? I mean, we pretty much, I would say, most voted for Obama, or at least did the first time around. But I would, it's the part of the left that was for Bernie and then said, hell no, we're not falling in line and voting for Hillary, right?
Or even some of those people. I mean, there is some degree of crossover between those two.
Well, right. Or they did, but it was a reluctant vote, maybe.
Yeah. Or, people who voted Hillary the whole way through, and maybe, who knows, they could exist. There might be some sane people in that camp. It's sort of like looking for the Democrats and the moderate white Republican vote.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's interesting too here I don't know, this fault line where Barack Obama is deemed to have been a bad president. Well, if you're paying a lot of attention and you aren't happy with say Obama's drone strikes and foreign policy and that kind of stuff, again, neoliberal stuff, then you would be, you're more skeptical of everything, right?
I think that's. I don't necessarily think that the characterization of this position thus far. I mean, it's a bit leading, but I don't think it's necessarily an inaccurate one.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm willing to give it a pass.
Okay. So the next part, the purest form of this sentiment on the far left, that is a vein of attacks that are almost indistinguishable from Republican rhetoric about the investigation. Oh boy, here we go.
That is a complete and utter falsehood. That is complete bullshit.
Here we go.
Now, we know who this is talking about. This is talking about people like Jimmy Dore, Nico House, Tim Black,
and that's not what they're saying.
And Glenn Greenwald. So it goes on to say.
Oh yeah, Glenn.
The Intercept's Glenn Greenwald has gone from insisting evidence of Russian interference should be discounted until Robert Mueller produced some indictments to now saying indictments themselves should also be discounted. Okay, well, wait, whoa, hang on right there. That's because if you go in and read the indictments,
right,
actually dissect what they mean, they don't really seem to hold a whole bunch of water, a lot of them.
No, they don't.
And let's see. Greenwald regularly appears on Tucker Carlson's show to dismiss the Russia witch hunt, as does the Nation's Stephen F. Cohen. Aaron Mate, as Jamal called him, Aaron the Buzzsaw Mate.
Oh, yeah, Aaron the Buzzsaw Mate. God damn it.
He cuts right through the bullshit.
Yeah. So Aaron Mate, another Nation contributor, has scoffed at what he calls alleged Russian meddling. Alleged? Question mark. And insisted.
Yes, alleged. Jeez.
And insisted that Trump campaign solicitation of help from Russia is no worse than the Clinton campaign hiring a British investigator to uncover Trump's ties to Russia. Okay, right there in that sentence, is where you have that mind fuck, pardon my language. But because they say where in the Clinton campaign hiring a British investigator to uncover Trump's ties to Russia. Really? There are Trump's ties to Russia?
Okay, but
in there, like Because how about to see if there were any? No, they say they put that in the sentence as a fact.
As if it's a fact.
Yes.
You know, the funny part is that all that information was also gotten from Russian officials, and there's still nobody pushing this narrative ever thought to question if maybe we were the ones that also got hacked.
Right.
Because that whole the whole P-tape story apparently came from a Russian government official who Steele had contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know necessarily whether that's through a translator or not. I don't remember that specific detail. But no, they took that information that they got from a Russian government official, or allegedly from an alleged Russian government official. No one thought to question that maybe the Russians are hiding us too. I don't know if it's just me, but if I were trying to destabilize a country that is with a hyper-partisan political environment, it seemed to me like the best way to send a house of cards is to divide it against itself.
Right.
By feeding them bullshit to both sides.
Well, I would like to bring in Bill Binney again here on this part, because if you watch that, there's an interview with Jimmy Dore, Bill Binney on Jimmy Dore's show, where he talks about the FISA court, about the Steele dossier, and how they brought that to the FISA court to get the wiretaps.
Right.
But that was paid for by the Clinton campaign. So
right.
That's on the level, right? That's fine. Anyway.
Sure.
So, all right. So, lying to reporters is not an indictable offense. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, where was I? Clinton, okay, investigator to uncover Trump's ties to Russia, assuming that's a real thing, And then in quotes, lying to reporters is not an indictable offense, and neither is showing a willingness to obtain foreign dirt. During the 2016 contest, the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign accepted help from Ukraine and paid for the salacious and outlandish Steele dossier from across the pond. You see, Christopher Steele, like Natalia Veselin, whatever, Kaya, is foreign, so it's all the same. Do what?
Okay, is this a direct quote?
That is a confounding argument.
What? Okay. You want me to reread that part?
Yeah, reread that. Was that a direct quote?
Let me go back, because it's good. Okay. Aaron Mate, other Nation contributor, has scoffed at what he calls alleged Russian meddling, and insisted that the Trump campaign's solicitation of help from Russia is no worse than the Clinton campaign hiring a British investigator to uncover Trump's ties to Russia. And this is in quotes. I guess this is a quote. It's weirdly written.
Okay.
That's from Aaron Mate? Lying to reporters is not an indictable offense, and neither is showing a willingness to obtain foreign dirt. During the 2016 contest, the DNC and the Clinton campaign accepted help from Ukraine and paid for the salacious and outlandish Steele dossier. Okay, right, from across the pond. You see, Christopher Steele, like Natalia, whoever, is foreign, so it's all the same. So I guess they're saying that we, people on the left, don't see we don't distinguish between those? Like they're equally, what do you think of that?
God, that's a weird one. I mean, that's a really clumsily worded on Aaron's part. If this is a direct quote, that's really clumsily worded.
But he doesn't say who exactly he's quoting. Do you notice that?
No, that's weird. It's
attributed to Aaron.
Right, but he doesn't actually go out and say who exactly he's quoting there. You know what I'm saying? So it gives him some wiggle room.
All right. That's probably for legal sake.
Okay, so situated just to the right of this faction, just to the right, okay, is a slightly less extreme form of skepticism about the Russia investigation. It does not justify or deny Russian hacking. Instead, it criticizes liberals for caring too much about Russia and posits that, oh shit, sorry. I just hit the wrong button. I just lost my word.
All right.
I'm not at my normal desk with my multiple screens. Okay, hang on.
You're good.
And posits that the Russia fixation is somehow preventing the left from prosecuting a populist case against Trump.
I tend to fall into that camp.
There's a huge problem with that. Again, you go to the paragraph before, and he says, alleged. You go to this one, and now suddenly the hacking is now a fact.
Yeah.
There is no evidence whatsoever that there was any hacking by the Russian government during the 2016 election. None. Our own Homeland Security has had to make that point clear time and time again.
Right. There was scanning. It does not justify or deny Russian hacking. I mean, it could say the Easter Bunny. I mean, if you just...
Yeah.
Okay.
This is why I say I tend to, not necessarily I find myself in that wholesale.
It's okay. Do you still believe in the Easter Bunny? That's okay.
No, I don't believe in the Easter Bunny. I just accept that there's a certain possibility that I could be wrong. That doesn't
right.
Gotcha. Yeah, as we all do. But what we're asking is the evidence. Completely missed argument is the fucking evidence. Been any. If they would at least produce some evidence, then you wouldn't have so many of us that are skeptical.
Okay, and then where this says here, criticizes liberals for caring too much about Russia and posits that the Russia fixation is somehow preventing the left from prosecuting a populist case against Trump. Now, this is where I say, listen liberal and Thomas Frank, because they're missing the whole actual fucking reason that Trump won, which is not nonsense, but it's the fact that, half the country's in poverty and populism won largely, right? I mean, that's how I see it. And I think, and then
I think a special key detail that needs to be noted, because for the sake of accuracy's sake, most of the people who voted for Trump weren't low income. They were mostly middle income with who own small businesses. But with that caveat, an important thing to notice is that what this teaches us is not that poor people were desperate enough to find a solution. It's that a bunch of middle class business owners were terrified enough of them losing their own fortunes that they were willing to side with a racist asshole like Trump in order to keep it secure.
Well, yeah.
So.
Okay, so this is an argument more of mood and tone, relying more on implicit contrast than frontal challenge to the Mueller investigation. Commenters like Catherine Kruger at Splinter, Seth Ackerman, and Corey Robin at Jacobin, or Jake, whatever you pronounce it.
Oh, the Jacobin?
Yeah, and Osita Nwanvu at Slate, have all publications I read less of now, have all expressed versions of this soft Russiagate skepticism. Oh, you mean they started looking a little deeper? After all this time?
Apparently.
There's nothing? These critics do not all agree with each other on every point, but share certain overlapping tendencies. They are mostly or entirely willing to accept the known facts of the investigation, but they assume little else of importance will come of the investigation, and above all consider the issue to be overblown, a distraction at best, and the seeds of a dangerous backlash at worst. So in other words, they assume little else of importance will come of the investigation. You mean they're not buying all the speculation as fact?
Yeah. Well, and also, what does he mean that they buy the facts as they've already been established?
Right.
What fact?
Yeah.
Once again,
that's the problem.
What?
Mm-hmm. That Facebook. Oh, you're frozen.
Point, but
that Facebook, you know, the ads that were half seen after the election, that is, you know.
As I was talking to my dad today, we got into an argument about this once again. And he, well, you know that they now have established that you're absolutely right. They have established collusion, and it was maybe 70 to 120,000 worth of ads, most of which that ran after the campaign in the first place, and somehow they were miraculously good enough to bring down a multi-billion-dollar campaign.
Right.
How do you explain that shit?
Yeah, and if you can, I want to know who these people are so that we can actually start winning elections.
Let's get them on board, damn it.
Yeah,
Point.
You know,
Let's hire these.
It's like
we
can outsource our political. We can outsource our political campaign staffs to China.
Perfect.
Why are we paying millions of dollars for consultants when we could
you have
the Chinese man $30?
Little ads for next to nothing and completely derail a multi-billion-dollar campaign.
This would be fun. I want to know who these people are.
How does that compare
You know what? The funny part is that you could have just went to 4chan to do this, and they would have done it for free.
Exactly.
Was there?
How does this compare with ads from Israel or from the influence by the Iran?
And just like that, you killed the moon, Snark.
Oh, I'll be quiet.
No.
You've been taking up all the airtime. Okay. And they're seeds of it, and it says, and they consider it to be overblown, a distraction at best, and the seeds of a dangerous backlash at worst.
I would agree with that.
Like, what, Russia phobia now and mass hysteria of like
we've never seen anything like that before. We have nothing in our history that would indicate that anything like that would ever happen here.
Yeah, so that's Bill Maher's generation.
Don't say.
I remember him saying he remembers hiding under the desks, and so you have that generation that easily, the people who are a little bit older than us, or some of us, that have that kind of in the back of their when they were young, or they heard about it. And now we've got kids today. I know my daughter's peers. They're out on the playground, and planes fly overhead, and some kid says, "Oh no, Russia is going to bomb us." I mean, this is like seeping down into the psyche of the kids everywhere. Where the idiot box is on in homes across America, and this is what it's spewing out. And it accomplishes that. Then they don't understand a damn thing about Putin or Russia or what any of it means. They just know it's bad.
You add to it the religiosity of a lot of people. You add to it the fact that critical thinking skills are at an all-time level. And what you have is a situation where an entire generation is going to go bring a boogeyman that doesn't actually exist.
Right. Yep. Okay, next paragraph.
I'm sure that will have no impact on our foreign security later on.
No, it won't have any impact at all, man. None.
Okay. Putin didn't single-handedly elect Trump over Clinton, writes Kruger, rebutting an accusation that nobody has made.
And I call bullshit.
Right.
Because yes, they have. A number of times.
Yeah,
yes, they have.
Yeah. Right. Oh my God. Surveying astonished reaction to Trump's performance next to Putin, she asks, it's worth scrutinizing what people are really mad about when they tweet things like this. Are they most mad that Trump is siding against the American national intelligence community? Which ones? Well, that's me saying that, sorry. Which has a bloody legacy of influencing elections abroad when it suits its own interests and trampling its own civil liberties? Are they angry that Trump continually refuses to admit black and white truth, staring him in the face, which would give Clinton even a second of solace? What is this garbage?
Wait, what?
What is? Oh my God, this writing is bad.
It's bad.
Who wrote this?
Hang on, Jonathan Chait. I know the name. I know I've crap before.
I know it's Jonathan Chait's article, but is he quoting somebody or is this?
No, not on that part.
Okay.
Oh wait, hang on. This is so jumbled up. There's a quote that's attributed to Kruger. Putin didn't single-handedly. Okay. Surveying astonishing reactions to Trump's performance next to Putin. Oh no, it is. This is more of a quote from Kruger's writing. Excuse me. So this is Kruger's writing inside this article. Sorry. Okay. Are they angry that Trump continually refuses to admit black and white truth, staring him in the face? Okay. What kind of journalistic writing is that? That to me is just, I don't know. Black and white truth, staring him in the face. Give an example of something. Like, what are you talking about? What truth that you accept from Mueller, or who lied about weapons of mass destruction, or who?
Right.
James Clapper, or Ray McGovern and Bill Binney and John Kiriakou and all the other guys.
And here's an argument I got into with my dad again, because my dad loves this stuff. So here's the other side of this argument. If you take a look at all the players in this, who looks like the person who is most to blame for helping Trump get elected and tanking Hillary's campaign? James Comey. The guy hit Hillary the last couple of days of the election with that huge bombshell about her emails, once again dredging it back up just a couple days before people went to vote. So if you're anybody, and I'm talking to my dad about this, is like, no, Comey has not. I don't think. I'm like, but wait a minute. If we're
Hey Brian, didn't you go
all
get?
this,
Sorry, you're breaking up really badly. So didn't you go get another router or something? What did you get?
I bought a new modem, but I haven't been able to install it yet because my roommate's got the codes and everything. So
Okay, so just when you get on a roll and
that's what starts to break up.
I want you to do that. You gotta fix that.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
But
I know.
no, that fuck.
Well, because we want to hear the whole thing.
Yeah, that. Jesus Christ, this article is it's tearing us apart.
Okay.
It's a crap.
It is. It's like a scene from The Room playing over and over again.
Okay. Or this is still from.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
This is still from this writer Kruger.
Okay.
She continues, or he, whatever, or are they most inflamed at the notion that the international order is shifting away from a place where American might comes first and must be deferred to in all matters of war, peace, and beyond around the world? Just some thoughts to ponder.
You know, that is a very good question.
Huh.
That is a very good question to ponder, though. I can't say I disagree with it.
But here's the question. With our system, where corporations have so much influence and power, particularly our military-industrial complex.
Yep.
Wouldn't the world, I mean, in all honesty, wouldn't the world be safer or in a better influence given our situation?
I don't know necessarily whether that would be a definitive yes or no. I definitely think that at the very least we wouldn't be the ones doing it. So I mean, there's that.
We are the ones with the most weapons. We're not the ones doing it, isn't it? Doesn't it stand to reason that there wouldn't be as much killing?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So Ackerman, this is back to Jonathan Chait's writing. Ackerman asserts that the Russia investigation has produced, quote, an atmosphere of nationalist fervor and anti-Russian paranoia. Bingo.
That rings true.
Yep. Robin has decried, quote, basically a form of moral panic. The ideological impulse producing these sentiments is fairly straightforward. Russiagate casts Trump as an opponent of American sovereignty, and to the extent one views the weakening of American sovereignty as positive good, Trump's position appears sympathetic. Okay.
Okay. So basically, the basic premise is that he's accusing us, them of light treason.
Uh-huh.
And then in the sort of Arrested Development sense of that phrase.
That's a really convoluted way to get to that.
Yeah, it's just sort of like it sort of reminds me of that scene of George Bluth talking with Michael while in his jail cell, saying, I might have committed some very light treason because he built houses for Saddam Hussein.
Right.
Light treason. Okay.
It reads a lot like that to me right now.
Yeah.
Relatedly, Trump has occasionally attacked the idea that the United States government is more admirable or democratic than authoritarian states like Russia. Trump, quote, said some things that were true, wrote Robin during the campaign, like this, quote, when the world sees how bad the United States is, and we start talking about civil liberties, I don't think we are a very good messenger, end quote. His realpolitik alliance with Russia and his premise that America has no right to hold its political system above Russia's strikes a chord in some precincts of the left. So yeah, that's basically like we criticize the U.S. more. We're not like we're the U.S. is exceptional all the time, right? I mean,
Here's the problem with that, though. What he's ultimately saying there is that we are by proxy, by the way that we are talking about Americans' foreign policy, we are at the same time saying how much better Russia is than us, which is not at all what we're saying. Because it's like saying when Noam Chomsky calls attention to how bad our foreign policy is and all the blunders that we've made, at the same time he is supporting Russia. That's what this part.
Yeah. It's that either or again. It's
no.
Just because you didn't vote Hillary means you're a Trump supporter. It's that black or white thinking. They can't. Yeah. If it's not one, it's the other. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. A theme of their skepticism is a sense of frustration with the way the Russia investigation cuts across the electorate, and especially the political intelligentsia, in a way that frustrates their ideological project. Okay. While some leftists have disdained the Mueller investigation, many centrists and even some conservatives have supported it. By expanding the Democratic coalition into the center, whatever that is, at least temporarily, the Russia issue runs counter to their goal of repositioning the party to the left. An undercurrent of frustration expresses itself in sniping at the commonality between liberal Russia skeptics and right-of-center Russia hawks turned Trump critics like David Frum, Max Boot, and Bill Kristol. Oh, did you guys see that great Max Boot and Stephen F. Cohen? He's a NYU professor. Oh, hell, who is he on? Anderson Cooper.
Oh.
You have to look this up. It is so good. Oh, my God. The Stephen F. Cohen guy, I think it's F. Cohen. He's a little bit older, and he schools Max Boot.
Awesome.
It's great. You gotta look this up. Anyway, and Max Boot just looked like a moron. What's more, Trump's Russia policy has produced a quiet struggle pitting the president against the most standard issue hawkish Republicans who staff his administration. Trump is the enemy of the left's enemy. Wow. Okay. This helps explain why the soft Russiagate skeptics see the issue as detracting from other lines of attack against Trump. A disquieting number of pundits seem to prefer playing detective to engaging in meaningful politics, complains this person, Nwanavu, singling out my article on Trump and Russia as a focus of his critique. Of course, engaging in meaningful politics is not the job of a political analyst. What? I guess that's sarcasm?
Yes, it's very bad sarcasm.
It's so badly written.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
It's really poorly written. Yeah.
This is like something I'd write.
Yeah, something
You could do better than that, Aeolus. Come on.
Yeah. This might...
No, this is what I'd write down to think that I'm a good writer.
No, if you were half asleep and you wrote a first draft, maybe.
This sounds like you were half asleep when you wrote this.
Yeah, no, I think you do better half asleep. I do agree and have written, he's got these links, my article on Trump, and have written, that self-dealing, not Russia, is Trump's greatest political liability. But I can write the arguments I find most compelling and interesting without stopping to consider what will benefit the Democratic Party's messaging strategy. This is just painful.
Oh,
Yeah.
But right there, the curtain drops.
Yes. That's what I felt too when I read that.
Uh-huh.
It's just sort of like, I'm writing this as a piece for the Democratic Party. It's like, well,
He just showed his hand.
You might not have wanted to do that so prematurely.
Yeah, he really showed his hand right there.
I think you shot your loads. I hate to tell you this, but I don't think there's a girl or a guy in the world who appreciates it when you shoot your load off before they're ready.
Thank you for that, Alice. Gee, it's not even 11 p.m.
Well, this is what happens when we go old school after hours.
Right?
Right, wait, does everyone have their pants on?
Last time I checked.
Okay.
I'm not. Well, I know James is broadcasting right now, although I'm not sure whether or not he has his name, but I'm pretty sure
Shirtless, like shirtless with the naked Hawaiian lady on the wall behind him.
Probably something like that.
James.
Okay, that said, the left may be understanding the potential vulnerability. I'm going to try to get through this. That the Mueller probe has opened up for the administration. A poll in May found that most Americans do not realize Mueller has uncovered any crimes, and that the news that he has indeed done so impresses them. What is this? This is shit. It stands to reason that guilty pleas or convictions would have a pronounced impact on public opinion. You think?
Yeah, I'd say that might.
You know what else might help?
Producing evidence?
honest.
Oh, your internet.
Your internet just
Oh,
shit the bed again.
Why does it every time you want to say something, it does it?
Okay, try
Maybe I'm
again.
being watched.
Yeah, try again.
I just said maybe we could get some evidence as well. Maybe.
Yeah, you think, but
That'd be nice.
or just like a conviction,
Okay, if nothing else, it would be harder for Trump to harp on crime if his 2020 opponent can counter that Trump and or his cronies are themselves a bunch of criminals.
Yeah, that might make that a bit awkward.
If and speculation, and I don't know. What makes the schism over the Mueller probe so odd is that, unlike a division over rival candidates or legislation, it is an argument without any particular decision as an end point. You mean just looking at facts without an agenda to bend the fact or path facts to your agenda that you want to reach? Is that what that means?
Right. Or just fabricate your facts to meet your agenda.
Few leftists.
What a shocking turn of events.
Few leftists actually want to shut down the Mueller probe, or are even arguing that Democrats should refuse to investigate Russia if they gain congressional majorities. Few leftists actually want to shut down. Okay.
I think that's not inaccurate.
That's not inaccurate. I have no problem with it being investigated. From my perspective, I have no problem with them investigating. I would just like them to find some damn evidence if there is any.
I just dislike the theatrics of it. That's the part that bothers me. If they were doing this without the theatrics, I wouldn't mind it.
Completely agree, Olis.
What news and what information, what things aren't being covered to educate the public, because we're filling up the airways with all this garbage. I mean, anyway, that's on purpose. That's by design.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
But okay, some of the skeptics complain that Democrats are emphasizing Russia too heavily. Didn't he already say this?
Yes, he did.
But this complaint confuses liberal journalists and activists with Democratic politicians who are mostly concentrating their rhetoric on health care and other economic issues.
Which is what they should be, duh.
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked to a lot of candidates, and I would say that those, if they're the whatever, neoliberal Democratic politician, or Kamala Harris, rising star TM, as introduced as, that they might be like, okay, Beto O'Rourke, they're trying to sound like they're for these things, like healthcare, but they're not really. And yes, they toe the whole Russia line. So I would say, yeah, okay. Last painful paragraph. In the meantime, journalists and close followers of politics are going to have a natural interest in the drama of a criminal investigation into the President of the United States and his family and advisors. This is especially true when the President has expressed through words and deeds his belief that he is entitled to immunity from legal prosecution, and indeed is entitled to direct law enforcement to harass his adversaries instead. It is very strange that the self-styled populist wing of the left is so indifferent to this project. What does that sound?
I don't know what.
Hang on.
Is that mine?
No, I don't think so.
No. A problem with that.
There are a number of problems with that.
Yeah, we on the left. Okay, even though we yet do not buy this whole Russia collusion thing, We are very quick to call out issues that we have with the Trump administration, its corruption, and its fascism. We have no qualms with calling attention, and I don't understand where he would, the writer of this article would get the feeling that we're just going to completely sweep all of that under the rug because we don't want to deal with any of it. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's also kind of ungrateful because there's a good number of these folks who are also in Antifa.
Okay.
Right?
So the people who are directly fighting the worst of this are, you're kind of throwing under the bus here. So, kind of a dick move on that part, but,
Parts.
Okay.
But
Sorry, the sound here. What
Yeah.
is?
cool.
I'm wondering, have we gotten any feedback in YouTube or anything about everyone's sound? I guess I can check that too.
Oh, yeah. You can check that out.
Yeah.
I've just been kind of turning off my brain, feeling my brain turning off thanks to this article. I've never. It's rare that I encounter such a piece of word salad that just that manages to say a whole lot and manages to also say nothing at the same time. That's an achievement. That is a spectacular achievement.
I would agree.
Is the sound your fan and auto boost from your microphone?
Mine?
Yeah, when your microphone goes low, is that when we get the sound?
I don't know. I think it was something on my end at home.
Okay.
Okay.
The CWAC, where you see CWAC here.
No, because the box doesn't line up when you hear that noise. So
Oh, it did a second ago.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah, but maybe not when the other was happening. I don't know. But I saw it in the video. Let's see.
Oh.
Okay. Here we're live. That's odd. Okay.
Nonetheless, I mean, yes. Is it over?
No, so that was that wasn't a good article. That was a terrible article. But
that was
a good article to analyze, I think.
I mean, there have been worse. Admittedly, there have been worse, but this is.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Crap!
Oh, don't tell me. There's
What?
more.
No, oh my god. On YouTube it says Pat Elder. I'm sorry. I didn't rename YouTube thing from the last time, but now we have his name on us. I don't think he'll care, but
I think you.
We can rename it in post. We can, heck, we might even be able to rename it live.
I don't. Hang on.
Nah, I don't think so.
I mean,
We can rename it in post.
crap. I did then. Okay, I'm doing things remotely, so.
Or we can all just say hi, Pat Elder, and that's good enough. It's in there.
Yeah.
There you go.
There. Well, there. Monetized. Boom.
Titles. If I were at home, I might have remembered this. Okay. Oops. What? Okay, I don't know what changed in OBS, but all audio is coming through the mic. Even the Zoom meeting audio is coming out of the computer into the microphone. Oh boy. So what's happening? Do we have sound or not?
I hear sounds.
I heard sound on YouTube. The sound was fine.
Okay, I
Hey,
just.
let me and listen in. Hold on.
Something seems funny with OBS. The sound, like it keeps. I don't know what's happening. Resetting. Okay, it's renamed, so that's good.
While you're doing that, the first Democratic Party candidate for president filed his paperwork with the FEC on November 6th of 2017 for the 2020 presidential cycle.
Who is it?
His name is Andrew Yang. How many people have heard any mainstream mention of him?
No, I heard about him from you.
And recently,
I've been watching his campaign.
Yeah, recently there was a thing called Opportunities 2020, where the big donors gather and they, try to decide who they're going to pick to be the next chosen one. And they said that the only person worth voting for was Biden.
Biden who?
Joe Biden. That they thought that Biden was the only one that was worth donating to.
God, that's a depressing state to be in.
The representative.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, the representative from Iowa.
You mean the old grumpy who wants back?
That guy.
However,
Oh,
the
yeah,
articles.
That's brilliant.
The articles that I read online said so far the only candidates are Biden, possibly Bernie unofficial, possibly Warren unofficial, possibly Hillary unofficial, but there aren't any others. And I'm wondering if Yang has been given the silence order that like Bernie had with Ed Schultz, where Ed Schultz said, yeah, the camera crews and everything there, and they were told under no circumstance to mention Bernie.
Sounds very likely.
Sorry. Who the heck even is Andrew Yang, though? That's my first question. I've never heard of this guy.
He's basically Bernie 2.0. I mean, the guy is, I've been following him. He is very progressive and seems to really understand what the people need.
He's young, he has a law degree, and he also is technical literate.
Awesome.
Well, that's some qualifications he's got there.
Much more so than Joe Biden, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, to be fair, anybody could be more qualified than Joe Biden. Joe Biden's hamster could be more qualified.
You're probably right.
I've been asking other progressives if they've heard of him yet. And there seems to be total blackout on him.
Damn.
Well, we need to see if he'll sign CWAC.
We need to start talking about. From what I've read of him and from what I've heard him say, he sounds like the kind of person we need.
Well, so far out of the gate, I'd say he's the one to go for.
Yeah.
So, I would say then maybe it'd be worth reaching out to him, see what.
I will be seeing him on the 10th.
Oh,
Awesome.
Where is he based in? Do you know?
I can't remember, but he's going to be here on the 10th, and I've already contacted his staff.
hey, we need to start tweeting at him to sign candidates with a contract.
I bet he would probably say you don't have enough in it.
Okay, cool. Actually, I think I may have already tweeted once at him about that when you first told me about him. I think I did.
Yeah, well, anyway, I don't know if I'll meet him, but I'll meet at least his staff on Friday, next Friday.
Oh, very cool.
Because they said he was, wanted to talk about robots and, the economy with more automation coming. And since that's
that guy?
Yeah, since that's my area, I thought maybe I should talk. And contacted them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, what time do you want to come?"
That's awesome.
That's great, Snort.
And they're going to be spending a week in Iowa next week. I realize James would like Jesse Ventura, and I have nothing against Jesse Ventura. If he ran, and I thought he was the best candidate. I would vote for him. I still don't see anything going, and really, it's very important if somebody's going to seriously want to run for president. They can't wait till Bernie, like Bernie did, just
Right.
say, "Oh, maybe I'm going to run. Maybe I'm going to run."
No, they
This-
need to get started now.
Well, this guy didn't start now. This
Right.
guy started November 6th of 2017, the
Right.
exact day he should have started. And the most important thing is win Iowa so that it carries on through the rest of the primaries and
Right.
caucuses. And to win Iowa in 2018 or 2020, he has to be there in 2018 at the Iowa State Fair. And
Right.
he has to eat a hot dog. Corn dog, yeah, it's like a mandatory. There's certain foods you must eat at the Iowa State Fair. And, it's silly but true. This is where candidates go. If there is no mention of him after the Iowa State Fair, and sorry, my chair is broken, I keep sinking. If there's no mention of him after the Iowa State Fair, and he's one of the few candidates that actually filed the FEC paperwork to be a candidate, then he's being ignored. Especially after spending a week in Iowa.
Right.
And so
I will definitely be following him, and I hope he does. I hope he does very well.
well, if he does well and is ignored, and the Perez tries to pull something, I would hope that that's it. He would actually be able to go through the party.
Well,
But I do not put up with this vote blue no matter who.
no, neither do I, as you very well know. I am a member of the group.
I say that at Democratic Party meetings. I am a registered Democrat, and I'm one of the most active in my county, and I make everyone known at the meetings that, hey, this crap happened this week. We need to disavow this.
Right.
So far, I haven't seen that coming from our local, but there really aren't that many people left. And when I meet with the other people like me in the other counties, like they're active in their party but upset, it's almost every Northeast Iowa county has someone. We had a meeting in this wonderful town in Northeast Iowa. Really scenic, doesn't look like the rest of Iowa. And all of us together were like, oh, actually, I voted for Bernie in the primary. Well, I actually voted for him in a primary because I lived in Illinois at the time, and then I moved to Iowa. Then there was the caucus. It already happened.
Right.
So, but I just don't think the party has an understanding of how many of the people who make things work for the party are ready to jump ship if they see one more act.
I'll be honest with you, Snook. I don't think. I really don't. I don't think they care. I think their focus is on the big money donors, and whoever's able to pull in the money. If they can't get votes, that's secondary.
Yeah, I don't think they care either. But I'm saying the volunteers are about had it.
And I don't blame them. They should be. I'm surprised they're able to still pull volunteers, to be honest.
We lost 3/4.
Yeah, that's I'm not a bit surprised.
At the last caucus, we couldn't even get anyone to attend to sign the paperwork.
Damn.
So
Not surprised.
you have to have 3 people. You have to have somebody that has been gone through a certain process to become the precinct. Can't remember what you call a precinct chair in this state, but if you don't have a precinct chair, then the people in that precinct cannot vote in the caucus.
Right.
So we had a lot of precincts without chair.
Jeez.
So
Well, hopefully they learn from this and realize that, they've got us focusing on what voters actually want rather than owners or much of a Democratic Party left.
Yeah, I think it's at the state level that they realize it, that the national doesn't appear to be listening.
It's funny. I'm very active. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm sure you do, Snork. I'm very active with Uphill Media, who operate in, and they've been basically chronicling the issues that they've been having with the Democratic Party there, and it's not really with the members so much, or even the lower level volunteers. It's with itself is where the pushback is coming from. It's from the heads of the party. It's where this
lost you.
I just said that the friction that they're getting is from the heads of the party, not from the lower level members and participants. It's with the that they're really having issues with.
Same here. They said when the Hillary people came to town, this is one of the towns where anybody running for president would have to make a stop at, and they were basically shut out of the room and doors closed. Let us take your office. They go in there, shut the doors, and act like they're in town, but basically they're carrying out whatever business they would carry out wherever it is. So, and I'm concerned. But like I said, has Downhill talked to Yang yet? I lost you again.
I don't know if Uphill has talked to Yang yet. I'll reach out to them and find out.
Maybe they got him on the ban list too.
They could. That wouldn't surprise me. That would not surprise me.
Laura Livingood, she's got to make that $1 million a year salary somehow.
Right. and Don Ellis is just rolling in it.
Well, I'm going to have to leave in about 12 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know how much longer you guys are going to be on.
Probably not a whole lot longer.
Okay.
I mean, we kind of came on just for the video, primarily for the article.
Yep.
But
now you guys are.
Well, we also came on to test the sound, and apparently there is a problem. So I don't know. I'll go back and watch YouTube and see, but I'm not sure what's going on. The OBS settings, I don't know. We'll have to hopefully figure it out before tomorrow night.
Well, we had a participant in the chat that said everything sounded.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll go back and listen to it, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, voting here isn't. I mean, I realize how much Iowa can mess up voting for everybody else. But for instance,
Right.
this is one of the major stops for presidential candidates. I'm going to show my phone book. You see how big my head is? It's not that much bigger than normal. I guess I should show something else. But anyway, this is the phone book. This is my hand. You see, I'm holding the phone book. This is the view from the side, and
Wow.
you see how much of it is yellow pages. So I don't know how big your phone books are, or if you even still have them. But we have 48 pages of people.
Jeez.
No, I take that back. We have 18 pages of ads before the names.
Wow. So you literally live out in the middle of nowhere.
This is the big town around here.
Now that's funny.
So, like Amazon, I do have to use Amazon.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Without Amazon, there would be so many things I couldn't get. I could buy things from Newegg and stuff like that as well. But computer stuff's Newegg. But Amazon gets me a whole bunch of stuff that
Oh yeah.
could not get on otherwise. Our meat prices are so low that the Amish choose to ride their buggies 4 miles into town to get meat at our grocery store.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so I just made lasagna for the night, and we used 5 pounds of hamburger.
Please.
That's a
don't
good deal
remind
of
me.
hamburger.
Me and my roommate just had hamburger helpers tonight.
That stuff is pretty good, actually.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as I was worried it was going to be, but
I used 2 pounds of mozzarella and a pound of pepper jack and a pound of ricotta. And so I made a really big batch of lasagna. And I bet with all of that, I didn't spend as much as most people would do for one person. So we'll chop that up and freeze it and put little airtight bags. Yeah. So you're still using a wireless router?
I am, but I just bought a new modem because I think the real issue is our modem. Our modem is just it's a piece of junk. So I bought a new modem. I just need my roommate password and all that stuff. He's here, but he's doing other stuff, so I've got to wait until he has time to set that up.
I had a big difference here. I'm on MediaCom, which is similar to Comcast, and the modem they supplied was just awful. But our main trouble was just the animals eating the wires.
Yeah, you told me about that. That's crazy.
So, and I don't know what the fires do to you guys down there.
Where I'm at, we don't really have that issue. It's more of the surrounding areas out toward Riverside, Reading, those areas. I'm here in Lake Forest, and we don't really have that issue here, luckily.
I was at Camp Pendleton a couple of years ago, and the whole base was on fire while I was there. I don't know what you do with your wires. I mean, it must get awfully hot. I can't imagine the wires not cracking or not being too icky.
Right.
Are they buried or are they suspended?
I think it depends on the area, but I think most of them are buried, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think most of them are buried.
That's good. Well, that takes care of the idea of critters. And I can't imagine them baking in the sun out there. And I have no idea what the people in Portugal are doing right now. If you do the calculations, it was 116 there today.
Jeez.
Europeans don't have air conditioners very often.
Oh, that is odd. That is horrible.
And some people have houses that are more than 100 years old there.
Well, there was a fire here in Reading that I guess it got so hot that it caused an atmospheric situation that produced basically a sudden thunderstorm that turned into a tornado, basically a tornado of fire. That's nuts. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, in meteorology, they refer to all that as convective activity.
Right.
So, it just gets worse. Well, I better sign out, get upstairs, and put my pants on and go pick up my son.
All right.
I am wearing pajamas. I'm not indecent on the show.
Are you in your boxer shorts?
No, I've got long pajamas on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, oh wait, actually, I guess I can do here, and I'll go watch and see what's up with the sound.
Yeah,
Right.
I gotta go. I'll see you. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Snort.
Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Okay. Stream.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
So what are you up to, Aeolus?
Not a whole lot. Just thinking about my trip back home tomorrow. That and doing some RP on a Discord server I'm on.
Okay.
My brother's coming back from Portland for a little bit this weekend, so I promised Mom that I'd be down tomorrow in order to see him. So,
Cool.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, as much as interesting as it's been being by myself for the first time, or trying to live by myself for the first time, I'm kind of missing home a little bit. So it'll be nice to head back.
When did you move?
On the 1st.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it hasn't been terribly long, but it's kind of one of those things that